Hi, it's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel. And today we're going to be checking out Oceans of Slumber and Where Gods Fear to Speak. We will talk a little bit about the video and the context behind the band, etc. after the video, but we're going to get straight into it. And yeah, we do discuss as the video goes on, so let's do it. I did think she was in another band before this, but... So I do like those guitars as well.
Yeah.
Just love those slightly.
So that's her husband,
Right,
the drummer. Texas band.
So this is a white affinity room done well.
Yeah, that's
You
what I thought.
can't see where the back of the room is.
Do you know what I like? The gold as well, how
Yeah.
sharp it is as a result.
It's the contrast.
Yeah, definitely.
So this room looks like it goes on forever, but obviously it hasn't. And the way they've done that is through lighting.
It's got an unbelievable voice.
And then they fucked up, then they filtered the contrast, which is why some of the colours look slightly off.
Yeah.
Like the gold doesn't look like a normal gold, it's more white gold. So they've just pulled up the contrast on it.
Can you see why I compared, where I said Scarlet Envy are actually doing something similar?
From a vocal delivery point of view, I see where they're going.
Yeah, but Jock probably tell us Squire is closer, isn't it? Because they've got that gothic doom element.
Yeah.
It's a great riff, that.
Yeah,
Love
isn't
that.
it? Proper death doom riff. Now, do you know I think with you, you'd be like, she just seems to belt the whole way through the song. I know sometimes they're critical of that, aren't you?
What's that?
She seems to just be in the
Who?
belting mode. Cammy, the singer.
She doing those growling vocals as well?
I can't remember. No, oh, yeah, she is.
Looks like it. From that.
The bass player should be doing them as well, though. I love that. Listen to the drums there, they've inserted like a death metal element into it.
See, that whole section there lost me completely. It lost all the vibe of the track.
See, I was the opposite. I liked it. It's like, oh, you've managed to insert some extreme metal into this while keeping a pop structure.
But I didn't feel that the vocals and those double kick parts with the guitar part didn't mesh well for me.
Do you think the drums were too loud at that point?
I just don't think they worked with that section.
See, this is what I love. It's just like diverted into extreme metal here. And the last album was just one of those piano-led gothic rock albums. So to me, they've really gone back to the roots. Do you not hear Alicia Keys in her voice? Yeah, listen to those drums.
So this, to me,
I like those drums.
This is a band without direction, or a direction that's not clear.
I think you would have liked their last album,
Yeah.
then, which is more gothic rock.
But remember, this when I say it's lack of without direction, it's first impression.
See, I think
not clear.
I think they've responded to their fan base though. Most of them weren't keen on the last album. So the drummer, who's in that black metal band Necrophire, they're all metalheads, and he's just like, right, he's like, we're going back to some heavy stuff. Because I mean, they are a prog metal band. That's what they started out as. So they have returned to that. I do take your point though, because like, is this the chorus? Is this the 7th standalone verse part? Where is it? That's probably what you're thinking, aren't you?
But you know, the other thing I'll be sitting there going is they're basically trying to be Ginger with a gothic twist.
Don't say that just because you've got a female vocalist.
No, it's the way the vocal switches are going, the tempo changes.
Because Ginger make a point, they don't like writing verse chorus music, do they?
No. I mean, there's definitely some big doom elements in this.
You do wonder with Cammy, do you wonder if she prefers this heavier stuff or the album before where her voice, you know, where she was guiding everything, is more soulful? See, it should be the bass player doing the growls according to the lineup.
Oh, she can do it, she can do it.
Yeah, there's no doubt she can, and it's just, she does like to oscillate, you know, with that vibrato technique. interesting place to put a synth arpeggiator.
I mean, this goes back to what you were saying when we were talking about music the other day and about emotion, about music from your youth and stuff like this.
Yeah.
This is something you can't. I couldn't listen to this with any form of emotion. This generates no emotion. This is technical for me.
See, that's it. That's so it's different because I can.
I listen to
because
this.
I'm like, oh, I can study this, and like you said, if you
I can study it.
Yeah.
But it's disinterest.
I think your point is, as soon as you've got to study it, it's lost you, hasn't it? Yeah, because it's no longer fun. Whereas with me, I'm like, oh, I want to go back and figure out what they're doing. Yeah. See that? So there's the chorus, which is not obvious, even though it's the third time that they've done it. Yeah, that's impressive. Though. Listen to the vocal uplift there.
That's just bluesy vocal.
Yeah. And they really utilised that on the last album, but I didn't really like the last album, so I am pleased they've gone back in this direction.
It's a well-shot video.
Yeah, I think as soon as I saw the thumbnail as well, it got my attention.
Okay, there we go, Oceans of Slumber. We've now been told off by Andy for talking throughout it. Sorry about that. We do talk, but we probably talked more than we normally do, as it was the first video of the day. But
you must have enjoyed it, that's all I'll say.
Well, some debatable stuff in there. There was a lot to discuss. So give us a quick breakdown on this, Kirk.
30 seconds, yeah. So this is album number 6. The band is signed to Season of Mist. The vocalist, Cammy Gilbert, is now married to the drummer, Dobber Beverly. And they've returned to their roots as a progressive doom metal band. The last album, 2022, Starlight and Ash, controversial album, gothic rock, very soulful, a lot of blues and piano. And there was a bit of a backlash. I wasn't too keen on it. And now, clearly, watching that, they've gone back to their more extreme metal roots, I would say, with that video.
Boom. Go on then, Andy, thoughts on this? Because we were obviously talking a lot during it about our kind of initial thoughts.
It's a band name I've heard, but I don't think I've ever heard any of their stuff. Bands with the word ocean in it are generally pretty heavy, pretty extreme from the ones I've heard and know of. But it's not a band I've actually listened to before. But yeah, really, really good first impressions. I mean, the look of the video was great. You called it an infinity room, Dave, that infinity white room.
Yeah, infinity void.
And you said about the contrast of the colours with the black and the sort of the gold. That looked really good. So the singer, is she called Cammy, did you say, Kirk?
Cammy Gilbert.
Yeah. I mean, she's got a great voice, great presence, great look. I sort of counted sort of 3 different vocal delivery styles in that track, which I really, really enjoyed. Highlight for me was the sort of, the first main riff, real sort of really good sort of death doom sort of riff, which I can still remember, and I would like to hear this track again. And that came back later in the song. I did like the sort of there's sort of like a middle passage, which was a bit of a sort of departure from the rest of the track, where she sort of had a different delivery style. That kind of would have been sort of edited out for me if it was if I was going to sort of reduce the song and do like a radio edit. That kind of seemed a bit superfluous. And there's a bit that sounded a bit like Behemoth, sort of 3/4 of the way through. But yeah, definitely a band that I'll check out. I've never heard them before, but that was a really good song and a good video to accompany it. I like the sort of elements that were away from just the performance, which was really good to look at visually as well, where she's being trussed and what's the word?
It looked like she's being prepared.
Hog-tied.
Hog-tied,
then elevated into the air by some strange black and gold clad figures. So that was quite an interesting element that they brought into the video, just to make it a bit more, to break up the visuals a bit. But yeah, good introduction to Oceans of Slumber for me.
So overall for me, good video. Well shot, well put together. Could probably dissect it in a lot more detail to kind of get through the characters, the masks, and what the format was of what the story they're trying to tell. The song itself is actually a good song. It's just not something that is instantly accessible for me. Being a more of a hard rock groove guy, I find there's, as I said, I think it feels on a first impression of listening, if you're not into this particular genre of metal, it feels directionless, like they've just tried to kind of do so many different things. They go, well, we'll do a bit of this, and then we'll do a bit of that, and then we'll throw another bit in that. But what I found with that sort of genre of music is that if you listen to, by the second, third, fourth time you get round to that song, you've then started to get the structure in your head. You start to understand the transitional passages and why it goes the way it does. I really liked her clean vocals. There are stuff, I mean, I'm not a fan of blast beaty and fast double kick stuff on songs. I think it sounds sloppy, it sounds messy, unless you're going for like death metal, extreme metal.
Yeah, that's...
If you throw that in, it's just that you've lost all the soul, all the weight of that it had in those doom passages, then suddenly go and then have her singing clean over it. I was like, you've lost the intensity for me.
Yeah.
Whilst they're actually making it intense, more intense with faster passages, all the intense vocal delivery and the intense of that weight has gone, and it feels like you've got people pulling in different directions on the song. And then when it finished, it all comes back together nicely. And maybe they were going for this chaotic vibe for that section. But that would be the point on first listening where I've got that, and in fact was the point of the first time listening where I got to that point in the song, I went, yeah, I'm done. There would be no reason. And if it wasn't for the review, if I was watching this on a video and that came on in just general passing, that would have been my switch off moment or skip to another song. But it's quite useful doing these sort of videos because it means you go back and you listen to the whole track and you can reflect back on it and kind of go, actually, there's some nice elements in there. And on a second listen, I would like to see how that transition period came in. Sometimes you think bands go and do it because they're just trying. They're like, oh, we sound too... Feedback on the last album was we were too much like this. We've got to now put something in. Rather than serving the song, they're doing things to try and get out of the mould. I don't think that always works. Kirk?
Yeah, I actually do agree with that last point you made. So the 2022 album, do you know when you get a progressive metal band, and often there might be one album that's like, go on, let's show that we're songwriters, and they'll write all the songs at the piano, and it really is verse, bridge, chorus, with a few left field moments in it. And I think they got trapped in that on the last album. There was nothing wrong with the songs. They'd stopped being a metal band. So I think they probably have seen the feedback. Certainly the drummer, Dobber, who's in this great American black metal band called Necrofire. And Andy, you might have heard of that grindcore band, Insect Warfare. He used to be the drummer in there as well. So his credentials are impeccable. And I think it's got to him and some of the others, and they're like, right, we're still going to show we're songwriters, and some of these were probably still written at the piano, and you've made the point. So why are there so many transitions and modulations in there? I think they've got the bare bones of a song and then just started inserting passages in the middle between where you would normally have a verse and a bridge. So that part where it just goes in this double kick, eighth note drum passage, to you, you're like, where did that come from? But not in a good way. And then there were moments in there, like you said, like Behemoth. So I like it because I remember that last album, I just thought it's too generic, it's too predictable. And they've just turned it 360 and just thought, right, okay, if you're saying the last album was predictable, we're going to take the same structure and then we're going to basically cut and paste and just start inserting extreme metal parts in between. I don't know if she was comfortable with that at all times, Cammy. Vocally, she's on a par with someone like Alicia Keys. She has that great blues voice. My only criticism, the oscillation or the vibrato technique, I think she does it to death when you listen to the album. But it's a very strong album and a return to form. I actually like something like that because there's a lot to unpack, and straight away it's like, right, I've listened to it once, I need it a second time, third time, because it's prog metal. That's what I like. And I did appreciate that they're really trying to answer the fan base and what people want. That's not always the best thing for the band, and as you said, it gets in the way of the song.
Because we've seen this with other bands that have done this sort of thing, because it always makes me think about which album do you get into a band on? Makes a big difference. Because you've seen it with, Theatre of Tragedy?
Yeah, good example.
You had, we had it with Suicide Silence. Did a great album, which was, they did a real commercial album, and then they've had to go back to extreme. Now, if you got into the band from a really commercial album and went, fucking love this album, and then the next album's like, you're like, what the fuck happened to my band? And then people go, oh, but their early stuff was like that. And I'm like, but I didn't join it because of the early stuff. I joined it because I really like this album. If you got into Metallica because of Load, and then you get sent Anger and Death Magnetic, you're like, what the fuck happened there? So it really depends on when you get into an album. And bands that, for me, a band should just follow whatever it is that they want to do.
Which they did on their last album,
And if that's what they want to do, then take your fans with you. And as long as you're happy doing it, your fans that are truly belonging, they'll see that you're engaging it. If you keep doing what the fans want, but not necessarily what you want, you won't be in that band you won't keep doing it in the band.
Yeah.
And I think bands like My Dying Bride have that issue, where the format of the guys within the band arguing and so forth like that, which we know there has been some infighting in there because people want to go in one direction, then you've got, well, with My Dying Bride, we have to kind of be a certain style, and then you get this clash where people don't always want to be in a band where they can't express themselves in the right way. So and then you get side projects because everyone goes, I want to do my side project and do that. And
to me, I don't know the background to it. It does sound like Dobber, the drummer. You love that name, don't you? Dobber Beverly.
Dobber the Jobber.
It looks from an outside like
Dobber the Jobber Drummer.
Like he's taken over and just said, look, we need to go back to our metal roots here.
Yeah.
Which is fine from my point of view because I like their early stuff and they were a progressive doom metal band, and throwing in black metal and death metal, and there was some interesting moments. I think it lost you, Andy, with it mellowed a bit in the middle part, and then it was being carried by this synthesizer, wasn't it, for a while, like rotation, like and you're like, okay, what's going on here? They put a lot in there, didn't they? To you, it was too excessive.
I think bands should never look back on what they've done. What they've done is a moment in time. So whatever you want to do now is what you're going to put out. When you go live, you always go back to these early tracks, and they always appear in your set anyway. So if you want to, it's not like people are going to go, like in Iron Maiden's case, and go out and do the latest tour, and they'll be like, oh, we're only playing off of Shinjitsu, whatever it was, that album. Of course they're going to play The Fear of the Dark and Run to the Hills and all those other classics. But they shouldn't go back and go, right, we need to write an album that sounds exactly like Number of the Beast, because that was a moment in that particular time. And if you do it, it will sound dated, it will sound like you're chasing the wrong thing. We see that with bands. We saw it, it'll sound forced.
It'll sound forced rather than sort of, you know,
that's what you mean,
making something from your creative juices. You know.
And I saw the same with Megadeth. When Megadeth went through these stages, they went through probably their most creative writing period, where they went from Countdown to Extinction through to Cryptic Writings and Risk, which were very, very commercial, but very much away from their direction. Then they did The World Needs a Hero, and then we had things like 13 and Super Collider, and then they were like, oh my god, and then they've got the Sick, the Dying, they had to go back and roll.
Dystopia was a good album, because they had to
and
go
they went
back
to almost shredding thrash, but then I listened to that and go, this has got nothing compared to your early stuff in this. This sounds forced.
Metallica have done that, haven't they? Death Magnetic. They were playing thrash again, but you can't hold it next to Ride the Lightning.
72 Seasons and whatever it is. It's all that stuff. 72 Seasons, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. It sounds shit when you compare it to things like Master of Puppets. So stop trying to be a thrash band, right? We know, look, freaking James Hetfield likes country fucking music.
And
incorporate what you like.
I
mean, do what you like. It's fine. People you can see you can hear it live. You're going to hear the classics live, so don't worry about it.
Andy, I think what I feared with this band is, when Anathema is a good example. So we loved the first two albums, and then they stopped being a metal band, and it took me a while. And actually, I do like those albums now, but I feared this was going to happen to Oceans of Slumber. And it's like, all that's in the past now. This is the direction we're going in. So I'm pleased that they've done that. But what you're saying is that just do what you want to do as artists.
Fans will either come with you. If they're a supporter of the band, they'll come with you. Or if not, when you go out on tour, if they really loved your early stuff, they'll still come and watch you live. So, and songs grow on them, but you should never chase what fans want. Do what you want as a band that's going to make you happy. And you'll either gain new fans and lose fans along the way. And I don't think there is really, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say there aren't really fans of just bands as a general. There's fans of music, but there are people that will literally follow a band for whatever they put out, which is insane to me, because I don't understand why you would support a band if the music's just crap. You can't be a dedicated. That's a whole other conversation, I think.
So kind of stepped away from this particular track, haven't we?
But anyway, Oceans of Slumber, there you go. There's a context.
Where God's
anyway,
to speak.
let us know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.